Aloha, MUS119. This is Module 4C. It's a close-up to writing intervals above a given note. So let's hop into it. There are two ways that we can write intervals, above or below a given note. Whenever there is a note that is given, we will never change or alter it. We will always think in the correct key of the note. So, the task at hand is to focus writing above a given note. So we're going to construct a perfect fifth above the note F sharp. So F sharp, in this case, is our given note. We are not going to change it or alter it to make it what's easiest for us. So here, I wrote an F sharp, right? So the first thing we're going to do is count that distance. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I know it's going to be some sort of a C. And then you can count the number of half steps between F sharp and C. These have 6 half steps, so we know there's 6 half steps. So we know it's going to be right here. We get 6 half steps. And if you have 6 half steps, what do you get? You get an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth. So we need to write that as appropriate. We have a diminished fifth because you don't have a fourth written there. You have an interval of a fifth. You have 5 scale steps away from each other with 6 half steps. Another way to think about this is if you have an F sharp, the key of F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp. I would then know if I looked at the key of F sharp major and looked at an F sharp major scale, I know that that has my perfect fifth between F and C. So I know that since I have a C natural instead of a C sharp, that's a diminished fifth rather than a perfect fifth. We are not changing the given note as a repeat, kind of a before. We could practice this with other ones, which I have written out here. So take a minute to practice these on a piece of staff paper outside the lecture, but I want to go through how to do these. So press pause, give them a try. Alrighty, so let's see what we got here. We want a perfect fifth, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know it's going to be some sort of F. And if you remember our perfect fifth and perfect fourth kind of tip sheet, we know that a B flat to an F is a perfect fifth. So you know it just from that, but you could think about it in different ways. So the scalar method, you have B flat, C, D, E flat, F, right? That falls in the key of B flat, and F is the 5th scale degree, therefore it's a perfect fifth. Another way is to count the amount of half steps that you have, and if you are accurate, you should have 7 half steps, because a perfect fifth has 7 half steps. Perfect. So let's look at this major sixth. We have a G sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So we're going to have some sort of an E, right? And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I could count the half steps between G sharp to E, so we could do that. Between G sharp to A is 1, A to A sharp is 2, A sharp to B is 3, B to C is 4, C to C sharp is 5, C sharp to D is 6, D to D sharp is 7, and then D sharp to E is 8. And if we have 8 half steps, let's double check. 8 half steps is a minor sixth. Therefore, to make it a major sixth, we need to have 9 half steps. So this has to be an F sharp. So that's how I figured it out. I looked at what I had already, right? And I know that I had 8 half steps originally. So you know that you need to add that sharp because you want it to be, it's telling you what quality it wants it to be. A major sixth, right? So if you already have a minor sixth, to make that a major sixth, you would have to raise that by 1 half step. So that's why I put an E sharp. What about this diminished fifth? Well, you can think about making a perfect fifth here, right? And then lowering the top note by 1 half step. Because a perfect fifth or a perfect fourth will match the same accidentals. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a fifth, right? Between C to G is a perfect fifth. But if you want to make that, right, perfect, augmented, diminished, to make that a diminished fifth, you're going to lower that perfect interval by 1/2 step, lowering the note that you wrote, never the C natural that's written. So to make that diminished, you would put a G flat. So between C to G flat is a diminished fifth. What about this augmented sixth? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to have some sort of a B. If I'm looking here, the bottom note kind of like serves as my tonic, which I think I've made clear, but I don't know if I've really said it. So if we have D major, E, F sharp, G, A, B natural, C sharp, D. And I look at that scale between D to B. Between D to B. Boom. That's a major sixth, right? So what would you do to make that an augmented sixth? Well, we can see over using this table over circled in white that to make this go from a major interval to an augmented interval, we have to raise this interval by 1/2 step. So moving from D to B natural is a major sixth, and you'd have to raise that by 1/2 step, making it a B sharp. So D to B sharp is an augmented sixth, and then a minor second. Okay. Like pro tip, minor seconds will always equal 1/2 step. Major second is 2/2 steps. And I like thinking about it like this because it never fails me. So even though I think like in terms of like the scale method somewhat to the degree of like, oh, between D to B I know this is sixth and the B fits in the key of D major, therefore it's a major sixth. Well, over here we have 1, 2, so we know it has to be a B of sorts, right? And then I'm looking and I'm saying we want a minor second, right? So we have between A and B, right? So we have that interval of a second, but between A to B is 1 whole step. So how do we make that a minor second? Well, you have to adjust the note that you have written by 1/2 step. So that has to be A, B flat. Sweet. So you can practice this more. In exercise 5A, this is what's written. I have attached an answer key for exercise 5A on Brightspace for you to consult with if you wanted to do this as well. But this is a really nice, really long exercise for you to help you with intervals. So here you want an augmented fourth, right? And you have an A, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know it has to be some sort of a D, right? And if you're looking, you could think about it in terms of half steps, which an augmented fourth has 6 half steps, right? So 6 half steps. And between A to A sharp to B, B to C, C to C sharp to D is 5 half steps, but you need to make it 6. So you need to add a sharp. You could also think about it in terms of, okay, in the key of A major, right? A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp. Sorry, not a D sharp. I was like, that's wrong. D natural, right? E, F sharp. And if I look there, like an A being my tonic, well, the D, between A to D is a major fourth. A perfect fourth. So to make it an augmented fourth, you have to raise it by 1/2 step. Over here, you need a minor third above D, right? So you need to have some sort of an F. And you can count the half steps. You know that a minor third has, if you consult your table, 3 half steps, right? 3 half steps. So you know that's D sharp to E, E to F, and F to F sharp would be a minor third. D sharp to E, E to F, and F to F sharp, correct. It's a minor third. Another way to think about this, so like when there's keys that I have here that like don't necessarily exist, like a key of D sharp major is not really a thing, you would just write E flat major. I like to think about it in terms of the next like lowest key. So by 1/2 step lowering, that would be D, right? And I know that between D to F is a minor third, because if I look, D, E, F sharp, well, that's a minor third, right? So you can think about it as, oh, well, if I know that this is a minor third in the key of D, I can raise that by 1/2 step each to create another minor third. So that's one way to think about it. If you didn't understand that, that's okay. Another thing that I wanted to go over was this augmented unison. So essentially what you're going to do is write the note on the same minor space that it's on, and you have B flat, right? And we know that to augment the interval, you're expanding the interval in making a wider interval. So an augmented unison would be a B natural above this B flat, because we know that intervals can be perfect, or unisons are perfect, and to raise that by 1/2 step would make it augmented. Let's say if we had this A, right? Between A natural to A natural, it would be a perfect octave, right? But we want an augmented octave, so what I'm going to do for that is, well, I know A sharp to A sharp would be a perfect octave, so I need to raise that A sharp by 1/2 step to make it augmented, which would be by adding a double sharp next to it. So if you'd like, print out exercise 5A, and you'd be able to, kind of see what's going on over here, with actually writing intervals out. In the meantime, you could follow this lecture with chapter 5 in the textbook. The interval construction exercise and exercise 5B contain content from this lecture. Is it 5B? I thought it was 5A. Alas, there's an interval construction homework for you to submit, which is similar to what I showed you in the other one. So what it's asking you is, you have an A here, right? And it's asking for a diminished fourth. So you can use the up and down arrows to 1, 2, 3. Right? Like I hit it 3 times, and I got an interval of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got some sort of a fourth going on here. I know that between A to D is a perfect fourth, so to make that diminished, I'd have to add a flat. So you can fool around with that, and then hit submit answer and do it like that. So, use it as a tool to do above a given note. So like you have E to G, it would have to be E to G sharp. I mean, I guess you could do a minor second here as a 1/2 step. So you could think about it as, okay, well, these are 2 A's together, right? Unison. To create a minor second, you'd have to be 1/2 step above A, which is A sharp, or B flat. Oh. 1/2 step is a B flat, right? Hold up. B natural. Oh, because you have a B flat in the key signature. Sorry, that's why. Actually, maybe you should set this one to not have key signatures. So then you could see that. So then over here, we have an A, and they want an augmented 2, an augmented second above. So we know we need some sort of a G, right? And we need to know, so a major second is 2 1/2 steps, right? So you need to have an augmented second, which has 3 1/2 steps. So you need between A to A sharp to B, and B to B sharp. So that's essentially how you're doing this.